I want you to take a comfortable seat and close your eyes. And beginning to follow the breath and allowing it to guide the mind, right? So our thoughts sometimes, we feel like we get carried away with them. I want your thoughts to get carried away by focusing on the breath. So staying present, noticing that the breath is as it is. You don't have to do anything to change it yet. We do have control over it. And it is that control over the breath that is going to help us stay present, stay calm, and find a little bit of peace and serenity. So I want you to gradually lengthen the breath, deepen the inhales, and deepen the exhales. In and out through the nose. I want you to listen to the sound of your breath. I want you to be aware of where you feel the breath. And let's even break that down a little further. Take your focus to your diaphragm and just notice if you feel the breath there. You might not. What about in the ribs? The chest? The shoulders? The nose? What about the back of the throat? And this one might sound odd, but what about the forehead? And then empty the lungs completely. Pull the stomach in. Slow, deep inhale through the nose. Hold the breath. And when you're ready, this will be a cleansing exhale through an open mouth. Nice job. On your next inhale, sweep the arms slowly up above you. Bring the palms together and exhale them home to your heart in Anjali Mudra, prayer pose. Pausing here to set your positively worded intention for either your practice, your day, or perhaps your week. When you're ready, release the palms down on the knees. We're going to find our seated cat-cow. So inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, round the spine, pull back, straighten out the arms, the chin drops to the collarbone. Inhale, sit up tall. So keep going. This theme is going to be about inner conflict. And right now I know you're all going, well, I don't have any of that. We all have inner conflict at some point in time, right? And perhaps my inner conflict is going to be vastly different from all of yours and vice versa. But is there a way that we can see our inner conflict? Keep going with your seated cat-cow. Ours being different, yet perhaps some tools being very similar that we can use regardless. All right, next time you are seated all the way up, hold it right there and let go of the breath. Nice. Take the left fingers to the earth beside you. Inhale that right arm up. Exhale to the left. And I want you to create a little vinyasa here. So each time you inhale, the left hand's going to push into the mat so it tips the right hip into the ground. And you're going to feel the upper body lift a little bit, open the shoulder. Exhale, a little deeper in the stretch. Inhale, my left hand's pushing into the ground. I'm opening the heart. Exhale, sink deeper. You got it. So to talk about this inner conflict, we're going to have to talk about a few different things that we're going to combine all together. We're going to talk about 3 of the chakras. We're going to talk about the Sanskrit word Atman. And then we're going to bring in a Native American story. So we've got a lot to cover. All right, exhale, deepen, hold it right here. Breathe. Nice job. Inhale, slowly make your way all the way up. Release the right hand down, close your eyes. What do you feel? What do you notice? And gently, that's the word I'm looking for, letting the sensations dissipate, right? The sensations from the stretch are temporary. The sensations from the stretch are temporary. Well, now you might answer me back, well, what if I stretch too far and I pull something? Yeah, you're going to feel that for the next few days, but it eventually goes away. It's temporary. All right, right fingertips to the earth. Inhale that left arm up. Exhale to the right. Inhale, you're coming up slightly. That right hand's pushing the mat away, forcing, I don't like the word forcing, but gently forcing that left sit bone and hip down, right? And then you're deepening. Keep going. Pulling the top shoulder back. You're lifting on the inhale. You're sinking on the exhale. If that left hip and sit bone are not touching the mat, you're going down too far into the stretch. All right, when you're ready, settle and deepen this a little bit more. Keep breathing. And inhale, slowly come back up. Exhale the left hand down, close your eyes, feel the sensation in the left arm. And just follow it with your mind's eye as it trails out of the body. Some of the emotions that I think, I'm going to say it this way that we get hung up on, but I don't mean it in a negative way. Remember I said sometimes the mind takes us with it? Some of those emotions do too. What are some of those emotions for you that feel like you're getting carried away, that you have no control over? And I want you to think about how they feel in the moment without being emotionally attached to it. I don't actually want to feel anger right now. I'm just thinking about how it makes me feel. And then breathe in this realization that the anger also dissipates and goes away, right? Our emotions are temporary. So then why is this theme about inner struggle? Because sometimes we get caught up in all that, right? And I think there's a struggle between what the heart is saying, what the heart wants, versus that mind that feels like it does take control of you sometimes. So we'll get back to that in a moment. I want you to sit up, deep inhale. Exhale, drop the chin to the collarbone. I want you to imagine there are weights on your shoulders, gently drawing them downward. And then keep your head this way, but take the fingertips back to the earth on either side of you. My fingers are going to walk away from me in both directions. Breathe into the stretch in the back of the neck, maybe even in the shoulders. And then allow the fingertips to start walking backwards. So gently behind you. Keep going. See how far back they can get. Do you notice that as the hands are walking backwards, the heart moves forward? So I want you to draw the stomach in. I don't want to create an arch in the spine. We still want to sit up tall, but let the heart feel free to move forward into that space. Breathe into the heart. So no pain in yoga, even gentle yoga. If this is a problem for your shoulders, you're going to change it up. Feel how the shoulder blades are drawing towards each other. And now I'm going to walk the fingertips towards my backside a little bit so that I don't feel like I'm tipped into my hands, like I can lift my hands off the ground and I'm okay. We're going to take the hands to yoga mudra. So fingers are going to interlace, palms will come together, shoulders roll down and back as the shoulder blades pull in. I'm going to just turn around for a second. If you haven't done yoga mudra before, so you know what this looks like. Arms are straight. If the elbows will straighten. If they don't straighten, energetically pull in on the biceps. Bicep pulling toward the other one. Breathe. Option A, I want you to stay right here. Option B, I'm going to lift the head, sit up tall, and then on an exhale, I'm going to hinge forward into a fold. And then you can decide if the knuckles are reaching out behind you or if you want to bring them up and over for an additional stretch. This is going to depend on a couple things. If you bring the arms up and over and your head doesn't make it to the ground, that is a lot of weight tipping forward that you might not feel like you have control over. So you could put a prop underneath the forehead, or if your forehead comes all the way down, that's fine. I know you're supported. Otherwise, just be cautious of how far you tip, please. Give me a deep inhale. Exhale. If you're in that fold, I want you to lengthen the spine, gently pull your way up. Everybody release the hands, bring the head to center, and shake out the arms. All right, backs of the hands on the knees. Pause right here. Close your eyes. Inhale through the nose. Loud exhale. Fabulous. All right, let's come to table, shall we? Hands and knees. Wrists are below the shoulders. Fingers are spread wide. Wrist crease is parallel to the front edge of the mat, so your hands are not turned out in either direction. If you have issues with your wrists, you can be on your knuckles. All right. Inhale, take it to cow. Sink the belly, lift the heart, lift the chin, pull the ears back. Exhale, round this out to cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Come back to a neutral spine. We're going to send the left leg straight out behind us, keeping the hips level. Foot is flexed, toes are facing down. Option A, stay right here. Option B, right arm forward for cat balance. Breathe. Again, do not sink into this pose. We don't want an arch in the low back, so draw the stomach in. Push the ground away. Lengthen. Exhale, hand and knee back down. Nice job. Shift the weight over, send the right leg out. Set your alignment, draw the stomach in, and then if you want to add the left arm, go ahead. Inhale. Exhale, come back to table. Take the knees wide, feet together, push back into child's pose, Balasana. All right, we're going to inhale our way back up into table. Tuck the toes. You know where we're headed, downward facing dog. Keep the hands and feet where they are initially. You might keep the knees bent, walk the feet out. And then really focus on pushing the hips up and back. Ears are between the upper arms, space between the shoulder blades. Give me 3 deep breaths. Good job. Inhale again. Exhale. Lift the heels way up high. Bend into the knees, crouching dog. You might feel the ribs rest on the thighs. You might not. Breathe. Find your happy place. Good job. I'm going to take my gaze forward between my hands so that as I shift my weight forward, I can just set my knees down and see where I'm going. We're coming all the way down onto our stomachs. We're going to find a restorative hip opener right here. It's called gecko. So right arm is the pillow for your head, for your right ear. Left knee is sliding out. You're going to probably find 90 degrees between the hip and the torso, 90 degrees with the knee. Foot is flexed. And the ankle is, you're not holding the flex, it's just a subtle flex. But the ankle is in a straight line with the knee. Does that make sense? So that the shin is probably perpendicular to your mat. Left arm is in scarecrow. Now close your eyes. See if you can push that left hip down a little bit further to the earth. And settle in. All right, while you're there, I'll chat your ear off a little bit. So I mentioned this Sanskrit word Atman. It means your true self. So it is that very deepest part of you that is your true you. The part of you, you might even say it's your soul. You could refer to it as your spirit, however you want to refer to it. It is your truest sense of self. It is the part of you that is on this Dharma path, and it is your physical you, your human you, that's trying to maneuver its way, right? So Atman, that I refer to it, I guess, as an inner light inside of you. I kind of see it sometimes as a flame. However you want to perceive this, it's all good. But that is you without all of the earthly human layers and labels. So you might say our intention is to tap into the space of the Atman. Yeah. But then I mentioned, well, we kind of need to talk about a few of the chakras here. When we have inner conflict, I already mentioned, it seems to me that it's a struggle between the heart and the mind, right? Our head is, excuse me, is great at taking us up on all these narratives, these different stories. Remember those books where you could like pick your own ending, like you'd get to a certain page and it would go, do you want to go to page 20 or do you want to go to 45? And you would pick 20 and you're like, ooh, I didn't like that. So you go back, you're like, I'm going 45. That's what I meant the whole time, right? The mind does that for us all the time. We get a worry in our head and the mind goes, ooh, it could end up this way. And we're like, oh gosh, that's scary. I don't like that. Back up to the thought. Well, it could go down this way. Oh, I don't like that either. I got to back up to the thought. And every time we do that, we go down a path with the mind and back up. And we go down a path with the mind and we back up. We're stuck in rumination. We're stuck in time travel. We're stuck in the past. And we stay there. So let's say we sit and think about this for an hour. We have just lost an hour to time traveling to the past where no change can occur. It is the brain's way of trying to figure out a solution to something that doesn't have one. Kind of like a Japanese koan, a riddle without an answer. So perhaps it's a situation where you might respond to me, well, but if I had done this differently, this would not have occurred. Sure. If you had, but you didn't. You didn't. And you can't change that. And that's why those experiences become learning lessons. Take the learning lesson with you to the present so that you can implement new behaviors, new reactions, and change. All right, give me a deep inhale. As you exhale, straighten out the left leg. We're going to switch gecko to the other side of the body. Okay. So we talked about the mind. I think often the mind wants to be right. You know that expression, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? I think the mind wants to be right. It's trying to figure these things out. But then you have the heart space, the heart chakra, right? Where I envision the Atman to live, right at the very center of that. And the heart chakra wants to make decisions out of love. It wants to make decisions out of our values. Now, keep in mind, my values, my value list is going to be different from all of yours and vice versa. But we want to make decisions that are based on our values. So if I decide to listen to my mind that just took me down some twisty long path, and the end decision does not align with my values, yet I decide to go with it, this is going to cause me internal conflict, right? If I listen to the heart, the mind is going to kick in because it wants to be right. And so again, regardless of what's the right or wrong answer, if there even is one, we're still going to have internal conflict. So who gets stuck in the middle of all that? Your throat chakra. Your throat chakra gets stuck in the middle of that. Your voice, your center of communication. I'm going to come back to that. I don't want to leave you stuck in gecko forever, although you're probably pretty darn happy right there and are hoping that I forget to move you. Give me a deep inhale. As you exhale, straighten out that right leg. Let's slide the hands back by the low ribs when you're ready. Draw the shoulders back and down. Hands are going to push the mat away from you, so I just subtly slide forward. Inhale and lifting into Bhujangasana, which is Cobra. And I hope you know that Cobra can be at any height you want it to be. So if you want to stay low, stay low. If you feel like, now my back needs to stretch, you can come up, but keep the thighs on the mat. Elbows stay soft. Shoulders do not rise up to hold the head. Breathe. Wherever you're at, deep inhale. Exhale, slowly drift down. Forehead to the mat. Stay for a breath. Inhale, lifting into Cobra. Ears pull back wherever you're at. When you get to your next exhale, Gently come back down. Forehead to the earth. We're going to do that one more time. So when you get to your inhale, go ahead and lift. Wait for an exhale to come back down. And then rest the right ear on the mat. Send the arms out alongside you, palms open for a moment. Close your eyes, relax the body. I want you to take your focus to the heart space. The heart is, if you will, face down into the mat. And so is your ear. And I want you to imagine that you're tapping into what your heart wants to say to you. And so right now, with the right ear down to the earth, we are listening to the heart's vibrations through the masculine side of the body, the side of the body that wants to figure everything out. So now go ahead and turn your head to the other side so that the left ear is down, the feminine side, the nurturing side. And now hear what the heart has to say. All right, on your next breath, let's bring the head back to center. Plant the hands by the low ribs. Gently push your way up into table. We're going to let the hips sway from side to side. And then come back to center. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Neutral spine, tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. Push those hips back. Your wrist should not be over your shoulder. Your shoulders should not be over your wrists. Yes, if your wrists are over your shoulders, you're doing something completely different. Breathe in. Exhale. We're going to walk the feet forward just a couple of steps so one foot can cross in front of the other, and then you can sit back down somewhere in the middle of your mat. We are going to straighten the right leg out. Keep that left foot tucked in. Right foot is flexed. And you can probably see here, my hips are not level. When we straighten out that leg, the hip wants to go forward. So pull the right hip back. Now you can see that my right hip is more hidden than it was before. All right. Inhale, sit up tall. Close your eyes. Right here, I just want you to focus on gently pushing the back of the right thigh and calf down without locking the knee. And it might even just be a subtle awareness of the floor touching the back of the leg. Inhale, take the arms up. Bring the palms together. Exhale to the heart. Again, kind of paying homage here to what the heart and the Atman want to say to you. And then I'm going to turn my fingertips away from me and gently hinge forward in a fold. You can release the hands then to support you. And I want you to take your time going into this fold. So I always like to move around a little bit and loosen up before I kind of melt straight down. That's up to you. What is important is that you stop where your body's telling you to stop. Also, if you're feeling really tight, add a soft bend to the knee. Stay with the breath. No pain in yoga, right? And then slowly begin to make your way back up. Inhale. Oops, hit my blocks. Take the arms up. Bring the hands to the heart. Right hand behind you. Left hand to the outside of the right thigh or the outside of the calf, not the knee. Okay, so sit up tall and then exhale. Use the left hand to push against the leg and take you into a twist. Here, the head will turn to look over the shoulder. One more deep breath. On your next exhale, gently release the twist and close your eyes for a moment. We're going to draw that right foot in now, taking the legs to cobbler, Baddha Konasana. So gently grabbing onto the feet somewhere, maybe it's the ankles. If your hips are really tight, this pose might look more like this with the knees up in the air. And you're going to feel like you're working. So if you do have any props, if you don't, you can grab things around the house. It doesn't have to be a yoga prop. But you could put something underneath the legs so you're not working so hard. Box of Kleenex, toilet paper rolls, anything. Yeah? Close your eyes. Just follow the breath. Breathing in peace. Breathing in balance. And then softly dropping the head so you can look down and see your feet. I want you to take the thumbs to the inner ball of each foot. And I'm just gently going to open the feet up a little bit. You're going to feel, you can probably see this too. It's going to drop the knees and thighs down a little bit more. Breathe into that space. And then let go. We're going to stretch out the left leg. We're going to keep that right foot tucked in. Again, remember, once you get here, pull the left hip back. Flex the front foot. Close your eyes for a moment. Just feel the back of the leg touching the earth. So there cannot be judgment in yoga. So having said, oh, feel the back of the leg touching the earth, what if you're too tight to sit at 90 degrees and your knees bend? There's no judgment here. Some part of your left leg is touching the earth. So if it's focusing on the heel, that's fine. Okay? Making your yoga practice what you need it to be, knowing that what you look like right now on the mat is exactly how you're supposed to. All right, let's inhale. Take the arms up. Bring the palms together. Exhale to the heart. I'm going to give a nod to that heart chakra again. Inhale, sit up tall, turn the fingertips towards the foot, and gently hinge forward into your fold. Take your time getting there. When you're ready, we're going to walk the hands up, make our way back up. Inhale, take the arms up. Palms together, exhale to the heart. Left hand is coming behind you. Right hand is coming to the outside of that left leg. Again, inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, take your twist to the left. I want you to notice here that the heart chakra is in a twist. The throat chakra is in a twist. And the mind, third eye, has a different perspective. And inhale. Exhale, unravel, come back to center. Baddha Konasana with the feet. From here, this time we're going to take the heel of the hands to rest on the knees. So as I gently push down on my legs, I am going to let the upper body go where it wants to go. You might get the shoulders involved a little bit. Maybe you just want to treat this more like a seated cat-cow where you're just sitting up, rounding out, however it feels good to you. I want you to let your heart guide you, not your mind. What does that mean? On the yoga mat, no ego. So if the mind kicks in and goes, oh, well, I think you should make it look like this because it'll look better. That's the mind kicking in. We don't want that on the yoga mat. Heart gets the lead. Gradually make your way back up. Pull the knees in towards each other. Give them a hug. Even in this pose, I want you to be aware of those three chakras. Right now, my heart it feels protected, nurtured, because I'm hugging it in, right? My throat chakra is kind of being nurtured as well. It's closed off. And then I've got the third eye. I've got the mind up here. And we want to find a way to allow them all to work together. Deep inhale through the nose. Cleansing exhale through the mouth. And then go ahead and begin to make your way out of this. We're coming all the way down onto our backs. Go ahead and hug the knees into the heart and rock it out. Make sure you're continuing to breathe, not holding that breath. All right, let's set both feet back down on the mat, hip distance apart. Draw the shoulder blades underneath you. From here, I'm just going to let both knees gently fall to the left. A very, I hope, peaceful twist. Close your eyes. If this is not peaceful, do what you need to do to change it up. So for instance, if that top leg is getting too much of a stretch just because the gravity is pulling it down, you could always take your block or that Kleenex box or something and prop that knee up. So as you lay here, I want you to take your focus to the throat. I want you to feel the breath traveling through the throat. How can we involve the throat chakra between what the heart wants and what the mind wants, right? I think sometimes when the mind kicks in and it's really strong, The throat chakra is pretty vocal because the mind is like, this is what we want. Come on, tell everybody. Maybe it comes out aggressively. And then sometimes the heart chakra seems to be the more passive voice. So it's going to be a practice, a changed behavior to learn how to connect the two. So what I want you to think about is not making a decision or reacting when you're in either the heart space or the head space. We want to combine the two, kind of like a Venn diagram. We want them to overlap and mix. We don't want to make decisions when our emotions are heightened. And yet, we also don't want to make super logical decisions because then the heart gets left out. So we have to find a way to merge the two voices and then speak from the throat. Give me a deep breath in. Big exhale. Keep the feet on the ground, but gently bring the knees back to center. And then exhale them to the right. So we talked about the Atman, we talked about the chakras, and then I said there's also going to be a Native American story. And I would not be surprised if you've all heard this story before. But it's a good one, and it's important in our discussion. So this story is about a grandfather and his grandson. And the story has many different titles. I like the title, The Two Wolves, because I think wolves are a very symbolic animal. They travel in a pack. They need each other. And so, paraphrasing, as the story goes, the grandfather explains to his grandson that often he feels like there are two wolves inside of him. And one of the wolves is very mean and aggressive. He represents envy, anger, frustration, sadness. I guess I could go on and on. The other wolf, the kind wolf, represents love, compassion, contentment, healing, balance. And the grandfather explains that these two are constantly fighting within him. And of course, they're symbolic for what we've been talking about, this inner conflict, right? The evil wolf probably representing, not probably, the mind, and the other wolf is stemming from the heart. And so the grandson asks, well, which one is going to win? And then the grandfather says, it depends on which one I feed. And so we keep coming back to this place of, and this question of, do you want to live from a place of fear, or do you want to live from a place of love? And oftentimes, and this is where self-compassion has to step onto the mat with you. Oftentimes, living from a place of fear is easier. It's easier because we know it, we understand it. To move to a place of love, we have to be open to sitting with uncertainty and change, and that is scary. That then invokes the root chakra, which we didn't even talk about. The root chakra, base of the spine, where fear might come into play and throw that off balance. Which wolf do you want to feed when you have inner conflict? And again, can you see why we don't want to go with either one of them? You know, we need the aggression and the emotion of the bad, I shouldn't say bad, evil wolf to merge with the compassion of the loving wolf so that we are balanced. We're making decisions from a very centered place. All right, take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring those knees back up. Hug them into the heart. Apanasana. Rock it out, hip to hip. And then let's set that left foot down on the ground. Let's send the right leg up to the ceiling. Keep the right foot flexed. We're going to take possibly the hands behind your thighs if they go there. And if not, you can grab onto your yoga pants. You can use a strap, whatever makes you happy. And then let's create a little vinyasa here with the breath. So inhale, pull the leg in closer. No pain. Exhale, back it off. That doesn't mean you don't feel a stretch. Just don't go too far. Inhale, leg comes in. Exhale, back it off. Give me 3 more. As you rebend the right leg, set the ankle on top of the left thigh. Let the right knee fall open. Flex the right foot. We're setting up for our supine pigeon. Let the left foot leave the ground, and it's gently going to push that right ankle in towards you. You stop when you need to. So even in this pose, you can start to apply the concept we've been talking about, right? The mind, the ego, the evil wolf might be saying, push in harder, push in harder. I've seen this pose in books. The legs should be closer to the upper body. And then perhaps the kind wolf and the heart chakra are saying, no, back away. Do not challenge yourself. Stay where it's peaceful. And this is why sometimes we need that happy medium, because we want a little stretch. So we find the balance between what the two are saying. All right, give me a deep inhale. Exhale, gently set the left foot down and then the right foot. Pause here for a breath, relax. Keeping the right foot on the mat as I send that left leg all the way up to the ceiling. Foot is flexed. Keep the foot flexed in these stretching poses because it protects the knee. Create your vinyasa. Inhale, leg comes in. Exhale, it backs away. Give me 4 more. Slow, slow, slow. And when you finish that last one, we're going to bend the knee, set the outer ankle on top of the right thigh, let the left thigh and knee fall open, keep the foot flexed, and then the right foot will slowly leave the mat. Find where you're comfortable. Inhale. Exhale, right foot down, left foot down. And then walk the feet away from you. Just stretch them out on the mat. Allow the feet to wiggle toward the outer edges of the mat, ankles fall open. And here's where you might want to grab a blanket or a pillow or any props that you like to use for Shavasana, which is corpse pose. If you don't have any props, we're just laying flat on our backs. Arms are alongside the body with a little space between the arms and body. Palms are open. Closing your eyes. Gifting your body a chance to relax and let go. And it is natural and normal for thoughts to pop in. The mind wants your attention, frankly, right? You can wave at the thoughts, you can acknowledge them, but then draw yourself back to the breath or to how it feels to be lying on the earth. And give me a deep breath in. Loud exhale. And let go. You'll hear my voice when it's time to come back. You have more power over your mind and your heart than you sometimes realize. When we succumb to the evil wolf and all of those really heavy emotions, it feels like we don't have control. But when we choose to feed the other wolf, to find that we can react from a place of balance and hope, that's where our mind lingers. And to again remember that it is not the experiences, the things that happen to us that cause our ultimate suffering. It is how we allow the mind to connect to those experiences, how we term them, and how we ruminate over them. So, changing the behavior to stay in balance. Give me a deep inhale. Let it go. Bring some movement back into the body. When you're ready, gently roll to a side in a fetal position. And find a deep breath to push your way back up. Any seated pose you like. Strong breath in through the nose. Cleansing exhale. Inhale the arms up. And exhale the hands back home to your heart in prayer pose. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me, and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.